French shalom and greetings to you all. Hope your Thanksgiving last week was fantastic. And you spent it with family and friends who have the most meaning in your lives. I was talking to someone about Thanksgiving the other day. How it's a time to be with family and friends, to honor the bounties of life, to share and celebrate gratitude for the gifts of God. And while talking about family, I mentioned the ancient belief that we picked our parents. She was adamantly opposed to the thought because she and so many others seemed to have picked lousy ones. I told her it was for the lessons we needed, and even if they stunk, forgive your parents. And thank God for giving you such good teachers for your own personal development. Forgiveness is so important, and yet so misunderstood and so hard to come by. And we will see it emphasized again this week. So how was your Thanksgiving? Did you think of some of the things you can give thanks for? Gratitude's not occasional. It's part of life. It's part of your life. There's so many things that we need to express our gratitude for, whether complex or simple. Even the ability to go out and enjoy nature on an afternoon with a nice picnic basket. It doesn't have to be world peace or untold wealth. Often it's the simple things that bring us great joy. One of the things that brings everyone joy is the ability to celebrate holidays and occasions. And when December hits, we know we're in the season of holidays, and also happens to be the season of miracles. Wonder of wonders. Miracle of miracles. God took a Daniel once again, stood by his side, and walked him through the lion's den. Now, I bet most of you have felt at times that you've been in the lion's den, but you've survived, you've gotten through it. Now, you can't put a Hallmark Christmas movie on these days without knowing they'll reference the miracles of Christmas. They don't reference Jesus that much anymore because Christmas, one of the twin festivals of light, has lost its light as a religious holiday. We're living in times when people are turning from religion, or perhaps they are just turning from faith. We're continually striving to grow. But growth does not come from striving to be a better person or from being more powerful and from not needing anybody. Growth comes from allowing your ego's story to drop away. Our egos are dangerous, my friends. We are an emotional, not a rational form of life on this planet. We feel before we think. Feeling's instantaneous and sends a message to our brains. But thinking, hey, that can take forever. It's our emotional reaction to situations that can cause us to panic. So the next time you start to panic or get flush, send yourself an SOS. Stop. Oxygenate. That is, take a deep breath to calm down. Seek information so you can make an informed decision. If you do those three things every time you start to panic, you'll be in great shape. It's something I think the world needs to do. It's not just individuals, it's countries. Germany once boycotted Jews, learned from its mistake, and this year's taken a deep breath and thought it through and took a stand against banning Israel from the Eurovision singing contest, of which it's been a part since the early 70s, stating that if Israel is banned, Germany will not only not enter, but will not air the contest to its almost 100 million citizens. Austria, this year's host, Vienna, beautiful city, has taken a similar stand, of course. On the other side, Spain, Ireland, the Netherlands, Slovenia, Iceland are pushing for Israel's expulsion, threatening to withdraw if Israel is allowed to participate. Those are countries which have fought to delegitimize Israel's right to exist for years. Thankfully, Israel is allowed in. But it's not just countries or individuals, it's institutions. As I'm sure most of you have read, that the Guinness Book of World Records will no longer accept submissions from Israel for its once renowned book. They pretend it's not anti-Semitism, but simply a protest against Israeli policy. But Israel as a Jewish state is a part of its identity. For the majority of Jews in the world, Israel is a core pillar of their identity, providing a homeland, a safe harbor in a world that hates them for no reason. The delegitimizing of a part of the Jewish identity attempts to relegate them to the outside bounds of civilized society. The world is attempting to hide its blatant anti-Semitism in pretend political protest. It appears, sadly, that idiocy has won. Not only is Israel and Judaism one and the same, but Hamas and the Palestinians are one and the same too. Of course, in neither case is it true. Jews may be Israelis. Members of Hamas may be Palestinian. Republicans or Democrats may be American. But in no instance are they interchangeable. Beware of the mob. They've taken control. Once they have it, they do not give it back. And funnily enough, I was wondering the other day, whatever happened to Nicole Shanahan, the gazillionaire running mate for Bobby Kennedy for while he was running? And because I'm sure my computer's spying on my thoughts, I came across an amazing interview she did as she talks about the Great Reset in the WEF. Well, I was once asked to present some ideas too, and while I do not subscribe to it, I understand it is available on X, but I don't really know how X works. So if you get a chance, see her interview. We are witnessing the greatest level of anti-Semitism in 100 years. So let's give thanks that there are still some people with minds who speak truth and call out terror for what it is. These terrorists that get such vehement defense would surely cut the throats of their defenders at the drop of a hat. When someone says they want you dead, believe them, they want you dead. But as you know, miracles are also part of the history of the Jewish people. Always persecuted, feared, hated, reviled, exiled, attacked, and killed. But there's always a miracle waiting to save us. The plagues, Moses, the Great Epiphany, the journey to the Promised Land, survival of its only 2 temples destroyed, people exiled several times, rededication, Chanukah, of the temple, the fortress of Masada, people driven from every land they called home, forbidden from engaging in all but the lowest trades, and yet we succeed and we exceed. The Jewish population, as I've said before, it's less than 0.2% of the Earth's population, but they count for over 23% of all Nobel laureates. The nominations and wins at the Oscars is far higher than that. From Haman to Hitler to Hamas, the desire to exterminate the Jewish people is enormous. How are we still here? That too is a miracle in itself, but we don't want to have to keep relying on miracles. We are the people of miracles. And get ready to celebrate the great miracle of Hanukkah, when we should take a moment, light the candles that emphasize growing light in our lives, light that allows us to see and not be afraid, to honor the miracles that occur throughout our lives, but which we rarely stop to acknowledge or celebrate. Hanukkah represents the rekindling of spirit. In 1 week, the holiday of miracles, with 8 days of gifts, hey, that's a miracle in itself, becomes a holiday of oil as we eat delicious fried foods, a holiday devoted to donuts and potatoes, a holiday of dedication to holiness, in which we play great games, including perhaps the forerunner of slot machines, the brilliant and unassuming dreidel. It has a lovely body, with legs so short and thin, and when it is all tired, it drops and then I win. Dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. Dreidel, 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 I shall play. Now, friends, Jews the world over come together during these 8 days to remember and honor the rededication of our own temples, carried within our hearts, like when we come together as a group to honor and pray and observe as a community, a collective consciousness of seekers showing faith, any and all faith, love any and all love. We are a fellowship, a chavura, as we express our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes that unites us all in this community house of spirit, Beth Ruach, house of spirit, sharing and bringing light, keeping fear at bay, and even though together, we're always individual in our approach as each of us connects in his or her or their own way. So once again, please do go ahead, invite everybody, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, spiritually, any way at all to gather and share from Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Ahim Hine Matov. Shevet Ahim How good and how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters Community. 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 Together. Now we support each other in this community. So let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world. Remember, friends, this is you setting aside a little bit of sacred time in your sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, because we all believe in something. It is a part of your intention, your kavana, that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intention are the roots of what you can control, of what you can correct. It is your intention that sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. It's goodwill, it's energy, it's light that we send to help heal whoever you know that needs healing and renewal, because healing and renewal is for everybody. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love, or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It's for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world, and boy, does it need healing. It is the tikkun olam, healing of the world. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. And a part of the healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. It's the prayer for the sick, but they don't have to be sick, because it's for those in our hearts and our minds. Let's all send energy out for the people in need everywhere, and always special thoughts and prayers for those in need of assistance. We pray for those who need prayer. We don't have to know them, because we want health, recovery, good life for everybody around us, for those close to us. For Leora, always there for me when I need her. For Sherry and Corey and Alan. For Roberta, Victoria. For Gabby. For Carson. For MW, the author. For Luke, Terry. For Bonnie and Ruth. For the lovely Leanne, always in need of support and love. For Shelley and Jeff. Dear Winston and fantastic Ainura. For Alana, who I hope to see soon. For John and Fern, Maria and John, Doria and Gloria, Connie and Ronnie, Maya and Tally, Nina and Danny. For Dale and Stephen, for all those suffering and in need. Let's not forget to include all the familiars of our lives, all of our sacred animal friends everywhere, for everybody you know who's in need, for the whole world, and for Rosemary. Friends, we pray for those who need prayer. The whole world needs prayer. It's the kindness, the healing wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world, finding those in need. So thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care. Because the world, there's a world of spirit, and spirit, my friends, never dies. Me, Shabera, Avoteinu, Bakor HaBracha, Vimoteinu, may the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. The renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Barak, let us all have our spirit renewed. This is the great prayer for healing. We should call upon God to heal as He has healed before. Misha Barak, may He who blessed, because all healing is a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. Now this week, we read about a great reunion. As we read, Vayeshlach, and he sent. Genesis 32:4. And Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to Esau his brother, to the land of Seir, the territory of Edom, commanded them, saying, You shall say this to my lord, to Esau. Your servant Jacob said this, I've stayed with Laban and delayed until now. The great reunion is in the winds. Jacob's heading home. Esau knows he's coming. Jacob sends men to tell Esau he's bringing gifts. Genesis 32:7. The messengers came back to Jacob saying, We came to your brother, to Esau. He's coming to you. 400 men with him. Jacob was very afraid, and he had anguish, and he divided the people who were with him, and the sheep and the oxen and the camels, into two camps. Why is he so afraid? What would you do? You haven't seen your brother in 20 years. Jacob the schemer lets fear dictate his move. He divides his camp so as not to lose all. And he said, if Esau will come to one camp and strike it, then the camp that is left will survive. That makes sense, doesn't it? Why risk everything on one throw of the dice? Would you? But of course, everything he does is predicated on his projection that Esau is out to get revenge for what Jacob did. He actually does not know that. How many times do we let our projections dictate instead of asking questions, investigating, seeking knowledge and answers? There are significant parts to this reading, the great reunion being perhaps the most significant. But we also have the wrestling match with the angel who names Jacob Israel, a name that means one who wrestles with God. And of course we have the reported rape of Dinah, the one daughter of Jacob. We think of the 12 sons, the 12 tribes, but there was a daughter too. The rape seems much more like a love story than anything. You read it, you decide. But it too sees fear rear its ugly head, as that is what Jacob focuses on. And we have the birth of his final son Benjamin, who will gain prominence in the Joseph stories. We have the death of his beloved wife Rachel. Then another passing of the mantle, as Isaac dies and another generation is gone. But the entire episode is centered around the great opportunity for reconciliation. The prodigal son returns home. Blood, love, connection, things that bind you to your family or not. Now we're told that Jacob's afraid, and he's carried that fear for 20 years so far. So he's prepared to sacrifice half of his loot so that the other half survives. He appeals to God, for with my staff I crossed the Jordan, now I've become two camps. Oh, save me from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him. For he thought, let me placate him with tribute that goes before me, and after I shall look on his face, perhaps he will show me a kindly face. This is pure projection, when we project us on them. These are the demonstrations of life. These lead to great choices. Life is a series of choices, my friends, and each choice is a cause with its own effect. We make the choices of life which send us in different directions. And yes, we could spend our lives thinking about those choices and saying, what if? But these are choices we are witnessing here are simply the behaviors and the beliefs of Jacob, not of Esau. How many decisions do we make based on us, not them? And the great writers and sages of history have continued the projection that Jacob was a saint and Esau a sinner. Nothing actually written supports that. Read it. Let me know what you think. This story is the story of forgiveness and the role it can play in our lives. We only tend to think of it at Yom Kippur. But here we're presented with an amazing example of that gift. I've been trying to get down to the heart of the matter, but my will gets weak and my thoughts seem to scatter. But I think it's about forgiveness. Forgiveness, even if you don't love me anymore. Jacob takes his two camps and he breaks them into 4 camps for a particular reason. And then he's left alone where his dream occurred 20 years ago. Genesis 32:24. Jacob was left alone and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. He saw that he had not won out against him, and he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip socket was wrenched as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for dawn is breaking. And he said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what's your name? He said, Jacob. And he said, not Jacob shall your name hence be said, but Israel, for you have striven with God and men and won out. Jacob asked the Spirit's name, but he will not say. Did he wrestle with anyone, or did he simply fight with his own dark night of the soul? Perhaps it's both. You could stop here. You could spend days, weeks, years discussing the wrestling match we go through in so much of our lives. Often we have wrestled with our own dark night of the soul. But this is just the beginning of our understanding of this man, this last of the 3 patriarchs. Genesis 33:1. Jacob raised his eyes and saw, and look, Esau was coming. With him were 400 men. He divided the children between Leah and Rachel, and between the two slave girls. And he placed the slave girls and their children first, Leah and her children after them, and Rachel and Joseph last. What has he done? He's placed them in order of his willingness to sacrifice and lose his wives and children. So he puts the concubines and their children first, then Leah and her children, and finally Rachel and Joseph at the very rear. Genesis 33:4. And Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell upon his neck and kissed him, and they wept. Jacob spent his life in fear of his brother, who let go any anger he had and forgave and loved. And Esau said, "Let us journey onward and go, and let me go alongside you." He said, "My Lord knows that the children are tender, and the nursing sheep and cattle are my burden, and if they are whipped onward a single day, all the flocks will die. Pray, let my Lord pass on before his servant, and let me drive along at my own easy pace, at the heels of the livestock before me, and at the heels of the children, till I come to my Lord and say, 'Here.'" And Esau said, "Pray, let me set aside for you some of the people who are with me." And he said, "Why should I find such favor in the eyes of my Lord?" And Esau returned that day on his way to Seir. While Jacob journeyed on to Succoth, and he built himself a house, and for his cattle he made sheds. Therefore is the name of the place called Succoth. Jacob uses excuses to have Esau return home, where he says he will join him. But instead he turns and runs in the opposite direction. Motivation of fear. The terrible things that it does. There are defining moments in our lives. Jacob's defining moments stem from defining questions. He asks his mother, "What if we're caught?" in the deception of his father, and she allays his fears. He asks his father that soul-revealing question. He is asked by his father, "Who are you?" And he will be asked by the angel, "What's your name?" Not Jacob, a twister, grabber, grifter, but Israel, one who struggles with God. Who does not struggle with God? Unlike other biblical name changes, he is actually continued to be called by both names because he is both. Yes, my friends, the world is sacred, so is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your life and the lives of those you love. Share your feelings with them. Live free, be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. Share and honor the light and all who live in the light and continue to shine. Continue to send everybody you know goodwill and love. Pray for peace and freedom for everyone. An end to terror and hatred. Remember, friends, we're a community. We learn together, we celebrate with each other, we love each other. We share this ride together, men and women equally. Let us send out love, not fear. Send out peace, harmony, goodwill, and healing to all who need it. And please do learn to forgive and learn to love. Open your hearts. Honor the relationships of your life and tell those you love that you love them. Examine your intentions. Use them to imprint your will on the universe, because we set in motion all that happens in our lives. It's our intention, our kavanah, our cause, our effect. Everything's linked. You always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad. So acknowledge what you've done wrong to yourself, to God, to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness. But do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you, as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people, the world just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? If you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. Keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being, keep sharing, keep shining, keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear, follow love. It's always in front of you. Work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind. Because the deepest source of real power lies in consciousness. Lies in your ability to be mindful, to be aware, to be present in all of life's circumstances. Love with the heart, because we're all part of a greater whole. Embrace love, not fear, forgiveness, not anger. Be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you, whether you know it or not. Continue to explore faith and belief in what they mean to you. Never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel, others have felt. Whatever you've experienced, others have too, because we share together. We learn together and we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love, acceptance, support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives, so find them. Tell them what they mean. You are never alone on your journey. Listen to the voice of God as he talks to you. And remember, Your connection to God and all that's been created in body and soul and mind and spirit. It's a part of you. It's a part of me. It's a part of all of us forever. We're connected. Next week, we get ready to begin celebrating miracles. But keep remembering the miracles that are occurring daily in your lives. It's Hanukkah. It's Hanukkah, a miracle time of year. A time to honor those of faith, a time to have good cheer. Candles burning ever soft to illuminate the night. For Hanukkah is also called the festival of light. A holiday for young and old, a holiday for all. A remembrance of increasing light in times when light is small. A time for children to play games wherever, far and near, as the dreidel spins to remind us that a great miracle happened here. It's Hanukkah. Hanukkah, a time for everyone. But the few overcame the impossible. Rededication is done. Candles burning, ever soft, to remind us of our right to live a life of miracles, live our lives in light. Friends, keep living your life in light and continue to shine in the lives of all you know. Thank you for joining me. Celebrate freedom, miracles, love. Let the world know that you walk in faith and trust in yourself. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. And next week we will be preparing to celebrate Hanukkah. Take care.